Avengers Infinity War is finally here. I have done my spoilers-free review. If you have not seen the film, please go watch that. Stay away from this video until after you've seen the film because there are a lot of spoilers to talk about. And this will be my spoilers review. Here we go. And let's start with the character that is the villain, the antagonist, the protagonist, Thanos. Big bad boy Thanos. This dude is a mean SOB. This guy is the greatest villain in comic book movies history. From the get-go, you get that this guy is not playing around. You get that this guy is a menace. You get that this guy gets shit done. He's on the hunt for the Infinity Stones, and the movie even starts with him already have wrecked Thor's ship. And throughout the film we see this happen constantly, and it creates in our subconscious this notion of when Thanos comes, he will destroy. Thor mentions to the Guardians that he has destroyed Xandar. We get to Nowhere and the Collector's homeworld, and he has destroyed that already. We get to Titan, and he has destroyed that already. So we get this notion that Thanos will wreck shit no matter what. He has defeated Asgardians. He kills Heimdall right in the beginning of the movie, and he chokes Loki to death. He kills two great characters, and this even before the logo comes on. Bruce Banner falls to Earth, he warns Doctor Strange, boom, logo, and the film wastes no time with this. I will mention Hulk more in a little bit, but I love that Thanos just beats the crap out of the Hulk, and it's not even a superpowered fight. It's a hand-to-hand combat. It's fist to fist, and Thanos punches the crap out of the Hulk. He military presses his ass to the ground, and in a moment where Hulk is pinning Thanos against the wall, and Thanos just grabs onto his wrists and pushes him away, you see this moment of Hulk being afraid, and that's how I will mention later on. And I love how the Russos, through Thanos, poke fun at the Marvel Cinematic Universe when Thanos says, "No resurrection this time," after he kills Loki. That right there is one example of the great dialogue that is in this film. That is right on the money. And Thanos is a great villain, but also a great character in general because of his depth, his dimension, his layers. Because Thanos is one guy who believes he is truly doing what is right. He believes himself to be the hero in this story, and that is the scariest type of villain you can be. He tells the story of Titan. Everyone believed him to be mad, but he still did it. Josh Brolin plays this so well, and even his performance gives even more layers to the characters, because yes, he believes this is right. He believes he's doing the right thing. He believes he's being the hero to the universe, bringing balance to it and stopping overpopulation in several worlds. But you also see this notion of not boredom, but tiredness, psychological tiredness, because he knows he's doing evil things per se. He knows that other people are suffering because of this, but it is ultimately the right thing to do in his belief. And you see that Thanos sees this as a burden because he sees himself as the only guy who is willing to take action due to this thing that is overpopulation, and that makes him scary. Of course, when he fights others and he beats them to the ground so easily, that makes him scary, but he starts in a scary place because we see where he's coming from. We see how strong his resolve is, and that goes all the way through the film till the very end, where he even pats Scarlet Witch on the head after she kills Vision for the first time, but I will get to that in a bit. And I talked about in my spoilers-free review how there's this sense of hopelessness and fear throughout. And Tony Stark is one of the characters who is afraid. Right when Doctor Strange goes to get him, he goes to the Sanctum Sanctorum. Doctor Strange tells him who Thanos is and what he's there to do, so does Bruce Banner. And Tony Stark has this moment where he says, "This is it." He realizes Thanos is the guy that is causing his vision from Age of Ultron that brought the Chitauri, as Bruce Banner said. And Tony Stark throughout the film is haunted. We see it even when Spider-Man comes on the ship and Tony Stark asks what he's doing there, and Spider-Man kind of blames him, and Tony Stark just gets irritated, not because the kid blamed him, but because the kid is there. He cannot protect the kid anymore. He cannot leave the kid on Earth. The kid is now on the war zone, and Tony Stark could not stop that from happening. And another character who's constantly afraid and haunted in this film is Thor. There's this great conversation he has with Rocket, where Rocket asks about his family members, about his sister, about his father, about his brother, about his best friend, and everyone has died, so what does Thor have to lose? While Rocket, while he pokes fun at his fellow Guardians and always pretends to not like them, he has a lot to lose, and I love what these characters brought out of each other. And also Groot, who's there playing his video game, always concentrated like a stubborn teenager, but then he sees Thor dying and he puts the axe together and raises Stormbreaker to revive Thor once again. Great moments that are brought out of pure character and their traits in this film, and the Russos really did cherry pick who characters were with who. The two massive egos, Tony Stark and Doctor Strange, they were together. And Doctor Strange is a character who is far more humbled than Tony Stark after his own journey in his film, and I love Doctor Strange's use in this film. He's the veteran, he's the guy who understands, and he foreshadows that he understands more than he lets on when he first meets Tony Stark and congratulates him on the wedding, because then he sees the 14,605 scenarios where he sees all the possible outcomes and only one of them shows the Avengers winning, and that is why after that he gives the time stone to Thanos when Thanos just stabs Tony Stark and is prepared to kill him. I was scared for Tony Stark all my life because I believed he was going to die in this film, and now I'm 100% sure he's going to die in the next one. 1000% sure. Throughout this film, we see that the Hulk is afraid. The Hulk is never afraid, but now we see him afraid throughout this whole film. He doesn't want to come out. Bruce Banner is actively angry in this film, and the Hulk doesn't come out. That's saying something. That is giving a lot more dimension to this character than he had in Ragnarok. And he had a lot of dimension in Ragnarok. I love what they did with this character in this film. Vision and Scarlet Witch are fantastic in this film. I love their love story, and I love how Vision is compromised from the very beginning. He's caught off guard with his defenses down, he's stabbed, and after that he can't defend himself. His powers cannot activate properly. But then in comes Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight, two of the meanest, coolest looking motherfuckers I have ever laid my eyes upon, and they kick the ass of Scarlet Witch and Vision. But then in comes Captain America and his Secret Avengers, were one of the most epic entrances ever that the BFI IMAX in London cheered, applauded, got up. It was amazing. And they send them on their way. They go with Scarlet Witch and Vision to Rhodey. They meet Bruce Banner. There's this really awkward moment between Black Widow and Bruce Banner, and they head on to Wakanda so Shuri can try and fix Vision and take the stone out of him, because there's urgency all throughout these stories. Going back a little bit to the fear thing, you also see Spider-Man constantly afraid when he's trying to catch the Guardians after Thanos throws the moon at Tony Stark. He's there catching them and sorry I didn't catch you, but there's fear. This is Spider-Man throwing the fear out of his mind through his usual quips, but you feel that Peter Parker is constantly afraid. He has no idea what this is. He has never been in a situation remotely like this, and he is nervous and he's beaten to a pulp. But I want to go back to the Guardians a little bit, because the Guardians, yes, they have a lot of humor, but Gamora was already my favorite Guardian, but in this film, my god, my heart broke when Thanos throws her off. He goes to get the Soul Stone from Vormir, and we meet the Red Skull, a moment I expected to happen ever since the first Captain America. I knew this was happening. I knew he was coming back, and he is not Hugo Weaving in this film. I don't know who it is playing him in this film, but congrats, sir, because you made a damn good impression of Hugo Weaving. And Thanos learns that he has to sacrifice the thing that he loves, and there's only one being in the universe throughout the entire history of Thanos that he has ever loved, Gamora, but he still throws her, and it's just heartbreaking to see the best Guardian of the Galaxy dying at the hands of her own father. Even when she kills him, supposedly, when they get to nowhere, and then Thanos reveals that it was an illusion. It's just so heartbreaking seeing that Peter Quill cannot kill her, even though he promised on his mother. And it's just some of the heaviest stuff there is in this film. Before I move on from the Guardians, I gotta mention the best joke in this film, when Gamora and Peter Quill are kissing, and then there's Drax all of a sudden, and the timing in here is just perfect. How long have you been standing there? An hour. I've mastered the ability of standing still so much that I become invisible. That joke killed me, and the timing, the delivery, it was perfect. And I remember this moment where they get to Titan and they meet Doctor Strange and Tony Stark and Peter Parker, and they start attacking. My first automatic thought was, assholes. And then I remember, oh yeah, they are assholes. Again, moments informed by character that advance the narrative. This is the brilliance that is, the richness that is in this narrative. So then Thanos gets the Titan and this awesome fight ensues with everyone combining their powers to attack. Thanos' forces get to Wakanda and everyone starts attacking. The Outriders start going at the barrier and everyone is at the ready. And I gotta mention that in these fight sequences throughout the film, and even in the invasion of New York at the beginning, the Russos used this very documentary-esque style of shooting that really enhanced the chaotic nature and the panic of what was going on. It was not shaky cam, it was handheld, but you can understand they had a steady cam while they were shooting, and I really thought that enhanced the feels of the film. Whatever they wanted you to be feeling in each single moment, it was enhanced by the style they were shooting in. And I also gotta mention, a lot of times when you go into these worlds that are obviously CGI'd, you get moments where there are so many close-ups on one character's face that the backgrounds are very unfocused, and they used a wide lens to get this effect. And in one moment I thought, why are we wasting our time in this close-up shot instead of absorbing this world and everything we get to see? And that is a thing that many movies suffer from, because they want to show these awesome worlds that we visit. Sometimes you get to notice that it is green screen, that it is CGI. The Russos used this so they wouldn't have this problem. And the moment I realized that, I applauded them. It was a fantastic idea. Why, Chuz? We get to see the world, the characters, we get to see them running around. But when we get to close-ups, it's very wise to use this notion of having the background not focus and very blurry and focusing on the characters. Because again, these moments, how this narrative unfolds, is informed by character. So when the Outriders break through the barrier and Black Panther opens it and they start running, I love this moment where you see Black Panther and Captain America just running ahead of everyone else, and it seemed like they were racing each other. I laughed at that moment. It was not funny, it was not supposed to be funny. I laughed so much, I had no idea why. It was just insane seeing how fast Chadwick Boseman and Chris Evans could run, and it was spectacular. And in here, another moment where the BFI London IMAX stood up, cheered, applauded, was when Thor came in with Rocket and Groot and Alan Silvestri's score. It was insane, it was epic, it was so much fun. These are the moments we fans live for, and the Russos delivered on that. With Captain America's entrance, which normally in the film you would see that as a villain entrance, and then with Thor coming in with Stormbreaker now created, I just loved, I just ate it up. I was a happy nerd. And I gotta congratulate my girls Okoye and Scarlet Witch and Black Widow when they fight Proxima Midnight, who is a badass in this film. And the ladies kicked a whole lot of ass. They were fierce. I love their combinations. I love their fight sequence. And Scarlet Witch, of course, comes in, takes all those big wheels out from underground and throws them into the Outriders, and then just throws Proxima into the air, and she's smashed by one of those wheels. And while Bruce Banner was fighting Cull Obsidian, Corvus Glaive was after Vision. Captain America goes to protect him, but Vision kills him, and then Thanos comes after he has nearly killed Tony Stark, after he has defeated every one of the Guardians and Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, who nearly was at his level, but not quite. Thanos comes in, slow motion, it's scary, it makes you sweat, it makes you nervous and anxious. He just kicks the crap out of everyone, and we see Scarlet Witch having to kill Vision, the love of her life. It's painful, it hurts, it breaks your heart, but she kills him, and then Thanos shows pity, reverts time, he brings Vision back to life, and he just takes the stone out, smashes half of his head in, and the Russos relished on this. The Russos relished on making us watch Vision die twice. And then Thor comes in with Stormbreaker, he crushes Thanos' chest in, and Thanos says, you should have gone for the head. And then he snaps his finger. But while during the film Gamora exemplifies this with the right hand, Thanos himself, while talking to Doctor Strange, exemplifies this with the right hand. He, at this moment, after Thor breaks his chest in with Stormbreaker, he snaps his finger with the left hand, with the gauntlet. And so we see the gauntlet all smashed, all crushed up. Thanos has a vision of young Gamora saying doing it, whatever it is, cost him everything, and he has now crushed the gauntlet. The gems, the stones are still intact. His arm is all fucked up, the gauntlet is all fucked up, but the stones are still intact. And Thanos says he should have gone for the head, reverts through a portal, and he goes to this beautiful mountainside. He goes into this porch, we don't know what it is, and the film just closes out. But before the movie closes out, Thor is just shocked. He asks Thanos, what did you do? What did you do? Much like we asked the Russos, what did you do at the end of this film? This is not about revenge anymore for Thor. What is going on? Half of the characters start disappearing. Tony is left alone with Nebula on Titan. Peter Parker's death just makes you weep like a little baby. You see Drax afraid before he disappears. You see Okoye just crushed when T'Challa disappears. No one has any idea what is going on. But then Captain America turns Vision's body up, and we see Rhodey asking what the hell is going on. And this moment, I noticed it the second time I watched it. Captain America sits down, he looks at a distance, Rhodey asks, and then Captain America has this moment, this pause, and he says, oh God. But this oh God wasn't what the hell is happening, what are we going to do, oh God, to me. What I heard from Captain America's oh God at this moment was, oh shit, this specific thing that he knows what it is but we don't, is happening. So to me, Captain America knows what is happening. I don't know myself. I have my theories. They disappear from reality. The characters that disappeared, their entire existence disappeared. Bucky disappeared, his arm disappeared because there was no need to create an arm if Bucky never lived. So did Black Panther. But we don't know if Wong disappeared, if Doctor Strange's girlfriend disappeared, if Shuri disappeared. Characters that were not in this film specifically, we don't know where they are. Valkyrie, for instance, she was not in this film. I imagine she was thrown off into space, but whatever. And as I said at the beginning, the Russos cherry-picked whoever stayed with who were the little groups in this film. And I bet my ass that they cherry-picked whoever disappeared and who stayed. I did notice that none of the original Avengers went missing. I also have a theory about Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp is going to end with either Scott or Hank and Hope fading into ash as many heroes did in this film. And it's going to be heartbreaking all over again. So much happening in here, so much to think about. But let's get to the post-credit sequence with Maria Hill and Nick Fury. They're in New York, they're getting all these distress calls, and everyone is disappearing. Cars are crashing into each other because people disappear. Choppers are flying into the ground because people disappear. Maria Hill disappears, and Nick Fury starts disappearing before saying motherfuck and disappearing completely. But in time, he sends a call out to Captain Marvel, who is coming out before Avengers 4. She who is the most powerful being in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, according to the Russos, Kevin Feige. She is probably the one being, besides Thanos, who can wield the Infinity Stones. And speaking of Thanos again, this 2 quick points. Thanos has this expression that I can't figure out for the life of me at the very end, at the last shot of the film. But he also has this very strange expression when Captain America grabs the gauntlet as he jumps and tries to crush him. Very unique expression to Thanos, who was very detailed. Fantastic performances by everyone. I love the characters in this film. Characters I already loved, I even love more after this film. Infinity War was amazing. I love it more and more each time I watch it. This is a film that had 10 years of promises, and in 2 hours and 36 minutes, it delivered them all and more. It was everything it should have been, it could have been, it was everything I wanted it to be and more. And it was an incredibly heartbreaking, heartfelt, devastating, painful, exhilarating, grandiose payoff. It's grand in scope, in scale, in thematic and narrative richness. It's got fantastic characters who come together in such beautiful ways. It's got heartbreaking stories, it's got heartfelt moments, it's got nerd out moments to the core that have no end, including jokes and characters interacting, that we can just talk about this movie for days. And that's why after this spoilers review, which you have now just seen, tomorrow I am hosting at 10 p.m. London time, so check your times if you're not from London time. I will have a live Avengers Infinity War Q&A answering all your questions, maybe stuff I didn't mention in this review that you want to know my opinions on. I will have tomorrow a live Q&A and we can talk everything Infinity War, our theories on future movies, our thoughts on this film, our thoughts on certain elements I didn't mention in this one. I can't wait to talk to you beautiful geekies about all of those Thank you so much for watching. You guys are the best. Happy Infinity, everyone. I'm going to watch this movie 600 more times. I hope you do as well. I hope you loved it as much as I did. And so until tomorrow, and until the next review, you stay beautiful, you stay geeky, and if you haven't done so yet, click the subscribe button and the bell to get notified whenever I upload a video so you can be geeky united!